Hello friends, I am Vaishnavi Devendra Sonomne, roll number 36. Our topic is Graphic User Interface. I am from NDMVP KBTCOE Nasik. Overview. What is Human Computer Interface? Principle of User Interface Design. What makes a good interface? Why should we care about UI? What is UI? There are three main types of user interface are: first, command language. The user must know the machine and program specific instruction or codes. Second, menus. User chooses the command from list displayed on the screen. Third, graphical user interface. User gives commands by selecting and clicking on icon displayed on the screen. The user interface. System users often judge a system by its interface rather than its functionality. Poor user interface design is the reason why so many software systems are never used. In some cases, legal text-based interfaces are still used. Characteristics. Windows. Multiple windows allow different information to be displayed simultaneously on the user screen. Icons. Icons different type of information on some system. Icons represent files. On other icons represent process. Menu. Commands are selected from a menu rather than typed in a command language. Pointing. A pointing device such as mouse used for selecting choices from a menu or indicating items of interacting windows. Graphics. Graphical elements can be mixed with icon the same display. Graphical user interface. Graphical user interface rely much more heavily on the mouse. A typical example of this type of interface is a version of the Windows operating system. The main advantage are: first, less expert knowledge is required to use it. Second, easier to navigate, can look through folder quickly in a guess and check manner. The main disadvantage are: first, typically dressed option. Second, typically less customizable, not easy to use on one button for tones of different variation. Graphical user interface are more common than text-based interface in modern computer. GUI advantages. They are easy to learn and use. The user may switch quickly from one task to another and can interact with several different applications. Fast full-screen interaction is possible with immediate access to anywhere on the screen. Problems. Actions involved logical conjunction and or disconjunction or are awkward to represent. If there are many choices, some menu structuring facility must be used. Experienced users find menus slower than command language. User interface evaluation. Some evaluation of a user interface design should be carried out to assess its suitability. Full-scale evaluation is very expensive and impractical for most systems. However, it is rare for such specification to be produced. Eliminates of user interface. To perform user interface, analyze the practitioner needs to study and understand for eliminates. The user who will interact with the system through the interface. The task that end user must perform to do their work. The work environment in which their task will be conducted. Types of user interface. There are two main types of user interface. First, text-based user interface or command line interface. Second, graphic user interface GUI. Text-based user interface. This method relies primarily on the keyboard. A typical example of the UNIX, the main advantage of a text-based user interface are: first, many and easier to customize option. Second, typically capable of more powerful tasks. The main disadvantage of a text-based user interface are: first, relies heavily on recall rather than recognition. Second, navigation is often more difficult. Graphical user interface (GUI). Graphical user interface rely much more heavily on the mouse. A typical example of this type of interface is an version of the Windows operating system. The main disadvantage are: first, less expert knowledge is required to use it. More user friendly. Second, easier to navigate. Can look through folder quickly in a guess and check manner. The main disadvantage are: first, typically decreased option, less powerful. Second, typically less customizable, not easy to use, one button for tons of different variations. Principles of user interface design. The principles of user interface designs are a way to improve the quality of user interface design. According to Larry Constantine and Lucky Lockwood in 3 Usage-Centered Design, these are principles of user interface design. UI design principle contained the structure principle. Design should organize the user interface purposefully in meaningful and useful way based on clear, consistent models that are apparent and recognizable to user, putting related things together and separating unrelated things, differentiating dissimilar things and making similar things resemble one another. The structure principle is concerned with overall user interface architecture. Content. The simplicity principle. The design should make simple common tasks easy, communicating clearly and simply in the user's own language, and providing good shortcuts that are meaningfully related to longer producer. The visibility principle. The design should make all needed options and material for a given task visible without distracting the user with extraneous or redundant information. Good design don't overwhelm users with alternatives or confuse with unneeded information. The feedback principle. The design should keep user informed of actions or interpretations change on the state or condition, an error or expectations that are relevant and of interest to the user through clear, concise, and unambiguous language familiar to users. The tolerance principle. The design should be flexible and tolerant, reducing the cost of mistake and misuse by allowing undoing and redoing. The reuse principle. The design should reuse internal and external component and behavior, maintaining consistency with purpose rather than merely arbitrary consistency, thus reducing the need for users to rethink and remember. Laws of UI design. According to Jeff Raskin in his book The Human Interface, there are 2 laws of user interface design. First, a computer shall not harm your work or through inactive allow your work to come to harm. Second law, a computer shall not waste your time or require you to do more work than it's strictly necessary. What makes a good user interface? A good user interface makes it easy for user to tell the computer what they want to do, for the computer to request information from the users, and for the computer to present understandable information. Good interfaces are clear. A clear interface helps prevent user error, makes important information obvious, and contribute to ease of learning and use. Consistent. A consistent interface allows user to apply previously learned knowledge to new tasks. Effective applications are both consistent within themselves and consistent with one another. Simple. The best interface designs are simple. Simple designs are easy to learn and to use and give the interface a consistent look. A good design requires a good balance between maximum functionality and maintaining simplicity through progressive disclosure of information. User control. The user, not the computer, initiate and control all actions. Direct. User must see the visible cause and effect relationship between the actions they take and the object on the screen. This allows user to feel that they are in charge of the computer activities. Forgiving. User makes mistakes. User action should be reversible. A good interface facilitates exploration and trial and error learning. Provide feedback. Keep the user information and provide immediate feedback. Also ensure the feedback is appropriate to the task. Aesthetic. Every visual element that appear on the screen potentially competes for the user attention. Provide an environment that is pleasant to work in and contribution to the user understanding of the information present. Thank you. Thank you so for asking lovely opportunity and building our teamwork.